extra encouragement. But yeah, I mean, when this shot is made, Jesus may have actually just been offside anyway, but it does really well to spin and turn, but then the shot is well charged down.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, it's a really good corner routine from the training ground from Arsenal, and Nelson, as you say, just sort of mishits his shot, falls straight into the path of Jesus. Neat little turn, but check couldn't. That's a fabulous block. That, I mean, he's absolutely, he slid across the turf here at the Emirates Stadium, and a real solid boot just to block a venomous shot from Jesus, and that's why he wants more from the fans. I think he wants to be applauded there by his.
Yeah, well, we're seeing that more and more now. Defenders almost celebrating like they've scored a goal when they charge a shot down, or if they clear a ball off the line. I mean, goalkeepers are getting more and more outspoken. We're getting certainly more outlandish with some of their celebrations when they save penalties as well.
That about Ramsdale,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and
Patrick Bamford a few weeks ago.
That's it.
Interesting that Gabriel Jesus is wearing the captain's armband tonight with likes of Kieran Tierney on the bench. I think you'd be looking at probably him or Aaron Ramsdale to wearing the armband. Tierney's wore it, of course, a few times for Arsenal already, but he's fallen out of favour a bit this season with Mikel Arteta, hasn't he? With the likes of Zinchenko, and Tommy Ash has been used.
He has, yeah, he has, absolutely. And with Zinchenko now back on the bench this evening as well, that certainly puts extra pressure on Tierney. I think Tierney's been lucky. He arrived at Arsenal with an injury, didn't he? And he's been a little bit injury prone since then. It's very difficult to sort of get a good run in the team if there's always an injury slowing you down. But the long ball played over towards Kieran Tierney. He couldn't keep that in play, but that certainly isn't the Scotland international's fault. That ball from the right-hand side, I think it was from Rob Holding, just a little bit over hit. Out for a throw, and Mikel Arteta, he always looks quite restless. Arsenal could be 5-0 up now, and he'd still be sort of fidgeting on that touchline, but he won't be happy with these first 16 minutes, will he?
No, he always talks about control, Mikel Arteta, doesn't he? With his pre-match pressers, his post-match pressers, and Arsenal have got no control over this game at the moment. It's been played at quite a frantic pace, but Zurich have had the better opportunities, and they look the more likely going forward. Arsenal, bar that corner routine they just had there, haven't really had anything in the opening 16 minutes in the way of going forward, and that will worry Mikel Arteta because, as I mentioned there, especially in front of a home crowd in Europe, you'd expect this team to have total control, and Arsenal at the moment just don't have a foothold on this football match.
No, they don't, and we're frustrated here, Arsenal, because the free kick's been given against Ayegun Tosin, but Arsenal were easily able to push forward here down the left-hand side, and Kieran Tierney frustrated the referee. Stop play for a free kick on the halfway line, which has now been taken. Jesus on the ball, tries to turn away from Condé. Able to find a pass down the right-hand side for Nelson, and then rolls it to Ben White. That's a great ball. White across the 6-yard box. It flicks off Katic. A strike from Fabio Vieira. The second ball drops to Tierney. What a strike that is from Kieran Tierney. Arsenal take the lead on 17 minutes, and if Tierney is out of favour with Mikel Arteta, that's not going to do his chances any damage at all, is it? A great strike from Tierney, and Arsenal are delighted and relieved in one, I would say.
Yeah, well, it's always going to happen as soon as I mentioned Kieran Tierney being out of favour. What a strike that is from a Scotsman. That's exactly what he can do. He's done it over the years for Celtic and for Arsenal when he's had the chance, and the first real chance Arsenal have had going forward. Jesus picked up the pace of the attack, and then you mentioned it, Nelson one-on-one with his man, Ben White on the overlap. It's a really good ball from Ben White. He's just onside, times his run really well. It's a desperate defender, then Vieira smashes a shot into it. The ball bounces out to Tierney on the half volley. What a strike, knee over the ball. He struck that so well into the ground and into the corner. No chance for Yannick Breher in the goal of Zurich. Arsenal 1, Zurich 0.
Yeah, and it's a really good strike from Tierney. Just gets a little bit of swerve on it as well as that ball bounces. It's a really, really sweet strike from Tierney. There was an appeal there from Fabio Vieira as well that Selnes might have actually handballed it as he was trying to block the ball at the edge of the area. But of course, that's all academic now as the ball hits the back of the net. So 18 minutes gone. Arsenal 1-0 up against Zurich, which certainly will frustrate Bo Henriksen and his coaches from Zurich, because they would have thought as though their side would have started. Their side did start very well, although they didn't really create too many chances. They had the attacking possession without really testing Aaron Ramsdale. A couple of opportunities to cross that weren't taken, and now they've got to try and get back into this game here with possession on the halfway line. It's with Oli Selnes being closed down by Fabio Vieira. Back towards Nikola Katic. Closed down by Jesus, plays it back towards Brecher now, and he looks up. Long clearance from him over the top, and it's one for, well, it certainly was Rockner chasing it, but it's just a little bit too much pace on that one for him. And the ball now back with goalkeeper Aaron Ramsdale. It's Tierney's first goal in this season's Europa League, but he's played in every one of the games.
Yeah, he has, Tierney. But, I guess Mikel Arteta's maybe trying to manage him more, because if you spoke about the injuries already, he's had, 3 or 4 injuries since arriving in London for Arsenal. So perhaps Mikel Arteta sees him now more as a rotational player rather than playing week in, week out. We know how frantic the schedule is, especially with the Europa League, when you play on Thursday, Sunday. So perhaps, playing once a week rather than 2 times a week is better for Kieran Tierney because, you know, he is a player that unfortunately is prone to an injury.
No, I do wonder if some managers privately are actually quite happy that maybe some of their star players or even some of their squad players are in national teams that aren't in the World Cup. I think that it gives them a nice winter break now, which obviously players based in England normally wouldn't have. Of course, they're still going to be training and everything else, but there's not going to be that intensity of playing twice or even 3 times a week. So that's certainly no bad thing. And Tierney and Zinchenko both had their injury problems. They're, of course, not going to the World Cup, so they'll be able to have a little bit of time just to regenerate before the league resumes on Boxing Day. As Arsenal win the ball back here in midfield. It was Zurich clearing the ball up towards the halfway line, and Nketiah's brought down. Arsenal wanted a free kick. The referee was literally stood over it there, Eric Lambrechts, and said no foul. And now it's with Tosin down the left-hand side for Zurich. Keeps it in play under pressure from Rob Holding. Going back towards Conde. Square now all the way back Galiti towards the halfway line for Nikola Katic. As Arsenal pressing well here, forcing the visitors back into their own half. Indrit Canberry now over towards the right-hand side. But look at this, 5 Arsenal players now pressing into the Zurich half. And that goal has certainly flattened the away side a bit. They're perhaps not playing with as much confidence. And at the same time, Arsenal all over them now.
Yeah, Arsenal really now just look up for it, haven't they? They've finally awoken.
Yeah, they've won it back here with Vieira. He gives it to Nketiah. Nketiah with the strike. He got a slight deflection. The ball deflects into the path of Jesus, whose effort is charged down. He's still got the ball inside the box before he deflects it off Canberry, and it's away for a corner kick. But Zurich have got to be careful here. Caught in possession. And Nketiah, you could tell he wanted the shot himself. It's a decent strike, but it was straight at the goalkeeper.
Arsenal like a pack of wolves now. That wasn't the most convincing goalkeeping from Yannick Breher, because initially me and you both thought he got a deflection, but on replay it didn't really. He just sort of beats away it.
Didn't really swerve either.
He doesn't really use his hand. He sort of uses his chest to beat the ball away.
He was a bit unsure there, the goalkeeper, wasn't he?
One. And well, he's got lucky in the end that his defenders have bailed him out. But Arsenal have another corner here.
They do. Plenty of pushing and shoving inside that 6-yard box. It's going to be an in-swinger from the left-hand side, aimed at the edge of the 6-yard box. Nikola Katic with the header. Not enough height on that one from Reece Nelson. Trying to aim for a teammate at the edge of the 6-yard box, could only find the big centre-back. Throw on to Arsenal now on the left-hand side. It's about 35 yards from Zurich's goal. It's with Kieran Tierney, Arsenal's goal scorer. Looking for options left and right. And it's taken a while here to find anyone. It's dropped in here now towards Lokonga. In towards Nketiah, who just lost his balance as he was trying to control that. So it is going to be a throw to Zurich. Now, just to, it is goalless still between Bodo Glimt and PSV. But of course, if Arsenal are winning here, they won't really mind what's happening in that game. Always got that 2-point cushion. One now to be taken by Boran Janicevic. Towards Canberry, under pressure here though. That's great work there from Gabriel Jesus, captain, leading by example there. Looks like a nothing throw to Zurich deep inside their own half, but now Arsenal have won it back and they've got a throw in attacking territory here with Kieran Tierney. He's got a few options, but again, doesn't fancy a long throw into the box. He actually sends a long throw all the way back to the halfway line here for Gabriel. Now Mohamed El Neni. In the meantime, Zurich have been able to push forward a little bit with their offside line, so a long ball for Arsenal is probably out of the question now. It's going to have to try and build again from the back, but the Gunners won't mind that. Say in possession and 1-0 up here with Ben White now down the right-hand side. Looked up, but again, Zurich are trying to condense their half of the field as much as they can. So this allows Arsenal just a little bit more comfortable possession on the halfway line. We've reached the 23rd minute here in the first half. It is Arsenal 1, Zurich 0, and it will be Ben to take us through to half-time.
As you say, Paul, Arsenal just now dominant in possession, just knocking the ball about side to side, waiting for the gaps to open. They've got the lead, so they can be patient with the balls. Kieran Tierney takes on his man Canberry here and delivers not a bad ball in towards the back post. Vieira on the acrobatic effort slices at that, but Ben White can pick up the scraps and his pass is a loose one, and now Zurich can break, and a long ball is played towards Akita over the top, but just too much on it, and the ball's going to find its way all the way through to Aaron Ramsdale, who finds Rob Holding. But just a few warning signs for Arsenal with these long balls over the top. We see it in the opening couple of minutes, Paul. We see it there, you know, the pace that Zurich have got in the front three. I think they feel that's their best option, because Holden and Gabriel, between the pair of them, there's not a lot of pace in that Arsenal central defence.
There isn't, and if they're going to play a high line Arsenal to try and get more players into midfield, then that is something that they have to be very wary of. The Zurich can clip a ball over the top, and they have got some pace to run onto it as well. But here comes Nketiah.
Nketiah links up with Lokonga. Lokonga finds Gabriel Jesus, who looks to find Fabio Vieira. Slight deflection on the pass, takes the ball all the way through to Yannick Breher, and in the hands of the Zurich number 25, and he rolls the ball out to Katic now. He's got a headband on his head, so I'm not quite sure whether that's a bandage or a headband. Or
I think it is
Quite
about. I
sick.
think he's got a white bandage just over the
Bandage,
sort of
yeah.
the black elastic that he's got on top of
I
that.
don't think that's something he's picked up in this game. Obviously, it must be a game he picked up at the weekend, perhaps in their victory over Sion at the week.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Zurich, as I mentioned, they have not had the best start to their league campaign, but made a good start this evening. But it just goes to show that those old rules are always in place. If you start well as the underdog and you don't create a chance or don't take a chance, then you're going to get punished for it.
They have won their last 2 games, incidentally, the Swiss outfit. Of course, beat Bodo Glimt 2-1 last weekend, and last week, I should say, and then at the weekend, it did beat Sion by a goal to nil. So a bit of form is now being picked up by Bo Henriksen's side, but they are struggling, as Paul says, in competition. And as Reece Nelson could be penalised here, on a hand on a face. I'm not quite sure it was intentional, and I'm not quite sure it was an elbow, maybe just the flick of the hand. It was kind of just sort of feeling where his man was, but the referee, it's sort of the palm.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't say that's a deliberate attempt to hit your opponent in the face, because I mean he's barely glanced.
It's a natural thing, isn't it, Paul? When you've got a man in your back, just sort of put your hand there to keep him at arm's length.
And what's interesting is you're right in front of the Zurich bench, and only the manager really put his hand up to appeal. The rest of his coaching staff weren't too bothered because they could see that there was hardly any contact there.
Nothing comes of the free kick anyway. They played a long free kick over the top, I should say, and straight into the arms of Aaron Ramsdale, and Arsenal can get going again. It's 25 minutes played at the Emirates Stadium, and Arsenal do have the lead. It's not been the most convincing performance from the Gunners, but they have got the lead, and that's a fabulous Kieran Tierney.
It's a great strike from Kieran Tierney, but then at the same time, has Ramsdale really had to make a save in this first half? There's been some promising moments here for Zurich, but Arsenal would argue that they saw out a bit of a promising start from the visitors and have had more control since they've scored. So it's on Zurich now really to try and upset that.
Zurich had a relatively promising attack there, led by Tosan, but he played a real poor ball, and it was easy for Kieran Tierney. And now ball's back with Aaron Ramsdale, who finds Rob Holding. He looks to go long, but Cruyff turns back instead to Ramsdale, and Ramsdale's under a bit of pressure here from the Zurich back line, and Ramsdale's ball is really bad and behind for a corner, and he just took too much time there, the England goalkeeper, and worrying signs for us, almost architects of our own downfall. It was Holding's initial Cruyff turn. Ramsdale's got the easy pass onto Gabriel, and then the pressure come from Rana, and then in the end, Ramsdale just sort of tripped over both his feet and kicked the ball behind for a corner. Yeah,
and he sort of had a look towards his teammates and said, well, where were you? But it's only Ramsdale who can take the responsibility for that. It was a really poor ball from his own goal line, and now a set piece here for Zurich as a gift.
Not so now. It was going to be the outswing this time, instead from Tosan, who delivered it and met the head of Canberra, I think that is, and over the bar, but it was a free header, really. I mean, if you look at it again, it's not the best defender from Arsenal. He's peeled off his man. There's a bit of pressure from Ben White, but Arsenal's defending there was left.
Yeah, I mean, they were lucky that he was sort of leaning back and not able to attack the header, having to sort of back away from it a little bit, which made it that much easier for the Arsenal goalkeeper to see that it was going to be going over the bar. But again, Arsenal don't want to be gifting corner kicks to Zurich. They've got a couple of big players in their team, and to say if they get a good leap on, then they could certainly be challenging Ramsdale from a corner. So they want to try and avoid that.
Zurich again opting to play that high press, and again they win the ball back. This time with their centre back Katic though, and Katic. Arsenal this time are just going to sit off a bit as Jesus looks to put Katic under a bit of pressure now, and he goes back towards Brescia, who kicks long towards Tosan, and Tierney misses that ball. Now Tosan's one-on-one with Gabriel, but Gabriel marshals him well and shields the ball out behind for a throw-in to the Gunners. Arsenal, of course, face a tough visit to Stamford Bridge on Sunday, and they've got 2 Premier League games left, of course, haven't they? Before majority of their players will jet off to Qatar. They've got Chelsea away and Wolves away at Modern News.
Yeah, it's got the game against Brighton in the Carabao Cup in midweek as well, but I would imagine there'll be wholesale changes for both teams actually in that game. And yeah, it's a 12 p.m. kickoff on Sunday as well. I suppose, I mean, they're always going to be playing their games on Sunday anyway after a Thursday fixture. But big test there against Chelsea, who've looked decent under Graham Potter. But of course, Arsenal are that target to be shot at when they're top of the league.
Of course, and you look at a few of these Arsenal players that are in from the off today. They'll be playing the likes of Ben White, Gabriel Jesus. So it is
Gabriel the defender as well. Of course, he'll certainly be starting.
Less than 72 hours until that game. It's a real tight turnaround in this sort of moment, isn't it? As Gabriel Jesus mentioned there, he does really well to hold the ball off and hold a few Zurich players off, and looks to get Arsenal going as Nelson's twisting and turning, does well to keep hold of that ball. He's been pulled back by Selnaers, but referee waves play on, then Nelson's ball should say, is a real poor one, but again Zurich just trying to force that pass in between the Arsenal centre backs, but wasn't quite on this time, and now Arsenal can get going with Kieran Tierney. Tierney's got Nketiah to his left. He finds him. Is Nketiah going to look to take on his man or deliver? He finds Tierney behind. Tierney pulls it back to Nelson, and Nelson's shot. He was defended really well actually by Canberra, and in the end, it's over for a goal kick. But good play there between Nketiah and Tierney.
Yeah, good link up. We saw a lovely link up on the right hand side for the Arsenal goal. And on this occasion, once again, they're actually showing us a replay of the Arsenal goal this time rather than the last move that we saw. But we can see here, there may have been a slight nick off Selnes's arm, but it would have been far too close. But the more I see this goal, the more I'm impressed with Kieran Tierney's strike. Because it was a ball that he really had to make sure that he kept his eye on. And he got it right into that bottom corner as well. But Zurich insisting on playing out from the back, Arsenal putting pressure on them. But a long clearance up towards the halfway line, headed forward by Gabriel, so the Gunners do have possession back.
They do indeed, and Gabriel Jesus, lovely little flick towards Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah's in behind, he's getting his shirt pulled up. He's really honest, stays on his feet, looks at Fabio Vieira near the box, finds him, Vieira shots, blocked by Jesus, and Nelson on the rebound is blocked again. I think the offside flag's going to go up for Gabriel Jesus, but Eddie Nketiah there was really honest when he was getting his shirt pulled. I think if he goes over there, it's probably a penalty ball.
Well, I wonder if it would have been. I think that the shirt pull starts just at the edge of the penalty area. Is it actually in the box? Ooh, yes, it probably is. You're right. Yeah, it's a difficult one. I think whether or not the referee should still consider it. I mean, Jesus is definitely offside when he inadvertently blocks his own teammate. Fabio Vieira lifts his arms up in frustration there towards his captain. Yeah, but yeah, it's a real risk there from Lindrit Canberra. And if Nketiah does go down there, I just wonder if the referee would have decided that there wasn't enough contact for him to go down. It's a difficult one, I think. That he does that same shirt pull on the halfway line, he's always going to get a free kick. Yeah. But it's just whether or not he'd get a penalty.
It is a difficult one, Paul. But I mean, like you say, you're running the risk doing that in the box, aren't you? Just making the referee's mind up for him sometimes. And Vieira there so unlucky because his shot was destined to go in, wasn't it? And Gabriel Jesus has got in the way, and he was in offside position. And Vieira looks to be in a real spot of pain here, and Alitti's going to be the first man into the book this evening from Eric Lambrechts, the Belgian referee, and he looked like he won the ball. I think it's more for the follow through. It was quite high, wasn't it? And Vieira looks to be in a real pain here with his left shin area, so it'll be interesting to see a replay of this. But Alitti is going to go into the referee's book, and you know, the fourth official, the linesman, were both right by this, so they had a better view of it, and they were the ones saying it was a foul.
It's not great. I mean, if you're going to slide in like that, you have to make sure you do get the ball. And I mean, does he flick the ball before he goes into Vieira? I would argue that in this day and age it doesn't really matter anymore. If you're sliding in with that much power and you're taking that much of the man, even if there is a nick on the ball, I don't think you're going to get away with it these days.
They're always giving them, aren't they? And like you say, he gets a flick on the ball, but the follow through and the action of it, and I think sometimes it's the intent, isn't it? And with that, you know, he was a foot off the ground, the other foot was on the ground, which is why it wasn't a red card. But there, and Alitti is into the book, and he's running the risk now as Nelson delivers his ball. It's a really good one towards the head of Gabriel, and behind for a goal kick. But the referee's actually signalled a free kick.
I think Nelly was the one who was there was a bit of pushing and shoving inside the box, or at the edge of the box as that free kick was coming in. Canberra's reporting an elbow there to our referee Eric Lambrechts. Elneny now on our screens. Potentially he's the one who's been accused of the elbow. But I must admit, we'll see from this replay here. No, that's unfortunately the camera doing what it's supposed to is following the ball rather than the players at the edge of the box. I'll tell you what, there's a little bit of an arm out there, and it's Canberra who's caught. Whether or not,
to be fair to Elneny, I think that's what it's one of those. I think it's one of he's trying to sort of just move, and he does catch him with his sort of trailing forearm, but as soon as he does it, he goes straight over to him, and so it wasn't like out of anger. I think.
No, I think so. I think it may well be just the Zurich player just trying to add a little bit of something extra on there. Perhaps to get the referee's
when you want
attention.
It down as well, Paul, you know, you've got to try and play all the cards you can get, really. And
yeah, absolutely. If you can get another player in the book, or even a red card, or just get the referee's mind thinking that there's some more physicality from Arsenal, that could certainly pay off for Zurich with their next set piece. But throw on here to the visitors down the right hand side. They're now struggling to get out of their own half here. Arsenal really putting pressure on.
Yeah, since scoring, the Gunners have been really good. Actually, have started to get full control of this game. As you mentioned, they didn't have it for the opening 15-20 minutes of his game, as Nketiah loses the ball here, and Tossan plays a long. So that was Akito, plays a long ball towards Tossan, and Tossan's brought down by Robbie Holden, is he? And he is, yeah, Rob Holden there did bring down Tossan. Tossan's been quite good at that, I think, so far, holding the ball up and sort of bringing his teammates into play. And again, there he draws a foul for Holden. There's not a lot of contact, but Holden does have a little nibble at him, and he goes over and wins his side a free kick just past the halfway line, and now chance for Zurich to get forward.
It is. It at least stops that sort of that run that Arsenal had of just constantly being in the Zurich half. But again, they've taken the free kick short. 2 or 3 passes now exchanged on the halfway line, and they don't really have too many ideas as to how to go forward. So much pressing here from Arsenal. And again, it's just a hopeful ball forward that finds Rob Holding, and Arsenal are back in possession. But Holding then steps on the ball and loses it.
Yeah, Holding kicks the floor, and Akita's going to have a shot from distance deflected, and Ramsdale does really well to recover of that. Actually, it was just real wicked deflection of Mohamed Elneny, and it changed the direction of the ball, and Ramsdale just about padded it wide, and Ben White cleared it. Now Arsenal can get going with Eddie Nketiah on the left-hand side. Nelson's coming across to help him. Is he going to use him? Nketiah, no, instead opts to use Albert Sambi Lokonga, and Lokonga goes back towards Elneny, and Arsenal's counter-attack momentum has been killed. But Arsenal do have strong possession of the ball, but it's a real good save from Ramsdale there.
It is, yeah. I mean, he sort of watched that ball in because he could see that it was going to be deflecting towards the post, but he did well to make sure that he got a save. Couldn't quite hold on to it, but it was a wicked deflection as Ben White now runs onto a ball here from Jesus.
Well, a real dangerous ball across the goal there from... I'm not sure who it was. I mean, he was checked.
Conde, he was checked. Conde inside his own box. You're right.
Conde towards Katic there, and he really put his centre half under a bit of pressure here because Ben White, as you said, was making that long run, and Conde dealt with it well. But that pass across the goal there to Katic just was not on, and Katic in the end had Jesus and Ben White charged him down. He didn't know what to do, so he kicks the ball behind for a corner. But Conde really should have just been getting out behind for a throw. As we have another look at the Ramsdale save there, and just couldn't quite hold on to it, as you mentioned. But he done his job and patted it wide, and it's going to be Fabio Vieira to take this left-footed in-swinging corner. Ball in towards Eddie Nketiah, great header from Nketiah, great save from Brescia, and the ball is eventually cleared behind for a throw, and it's a really good ball from Fabio Vieira as Nketiah at the front post, headed it really well, the Arsenal number 14, and Brescia met it really well as well.
He did. There were a few Arsenal players' opinion that even after the save, they felt as though Brescia was so far behind his line, it might have been over, but it wasn't. He was on the line. There's nothing wrong with that. He's made a very good save there. And it was a really powerful header from Nketiah. It is a great save. That same header right into the corner, though. I'm not sure the goalkeeper gets on the end of it. It is a goal for PSV away at Bodo Glimt. We're just waiting for confirmation of the goal scorers. Arsenal go forward. Jesus into the 6-yard box. Tries to thread a ball through towards Reece Nelson, but goalkeeper Brescia is out and makes the save.
Yeah, he is, and it's Gabriel Jesus there, and we've seen them this so many times this season. He was back against players driving past 2, past 3, and then just tried to find Reece Nelson with an intricate little pass. Couldn't quite do so, but yes, as Paul's mentioned there, PSV do lead away at Bodo Glimt, and it's a big goal for them, but at the moment it's not changing things because Arsenal are leading. They're doing their job, they're matching PSV's result. There's another poor ball, this time from Meliti, goes behind for a corner, and Zurich at the moment are just architects of their own downfall and inviting pressure onto them, and again they gift Arsenal a corner, and Arsenal were so dangerous.
They don't have a plan B, Zurich. They started positively, they seem to have Arsenal under pressure. Arsenal responded, took the lead, and since then Zurich just has gone completely into their shell. And really it's on Arsenal now to take advantage of this and potentially put some real daylight between themselves and the visitors even before half-time.
Get that all-important second goal, which can be so crucial, especially Arsenal knowing they must win this evening. It's imperative that they do because they do not want to be facing the playoff game against one of the Champions League teams. Vieira's left-footed ball in this time, doesn't beat the first man, who's Katic. His bandage has actually just flown off with that header, and now Akita can bring the ball down. It's him and Tosan on the break, but Akita lost his footing, and now Gabriel Jesus has the ball, and he'll look to deliver with a right-footed in-swinging ball. It's not a bad ball either from Jesus, but it's headed away well by Aliti, but only as far as Fabio Vieira. This time Vieira's left-footed ball towards Rob Holding and Gabriel, and Nketiah's up there as well, and just about Zurich get it behind again for a corner, this time of Katic, this time without the headband. His headband actually flew off when he defended that last corner.
Absolutely, yeah, he's having to replace that now. It was an Alphonse Stamsted own goal, by the way, that's given the lead for PSV away at Bodo Glimt. So that's how the Dutch side have taken the lead up in Iceland. But corner kick now to Arsenal from the left-hand side.
This time Reece Nelson to deliver a corner, an onslaught of corners from Arsenal at the moment. Really good ball from Nelson, but really well headed away by Akita. And Tierney puts it back in, this time with his right foot over the bar and behind for a goal kick. As Samson own goals, Paul's mentioned there, but Mikel Arteta just looks slightly frustrated on the touchline still, doesn't he? I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think he would say that that his side are very much in control now, but then potentially because of that, he won't be happy that they haven't done more to test the goalkeeper. Yes, there was that great save from Brescia just a moment ago when he saved from Nketiah. And there was that save a few minutes before then as well. But really, I think that he'll be a bit frustrated in Mikel Arteta that after what was Arsenal starting off quite shakily in this game, Zurich have really struggled to respond now in the last 15 minutes or so, and Arsenal just need to take advantage even more than they have been doing.
Just long kicks towards Akita, headed away well by Rob Holding now, and Nketiah is under tackle from Selnaas. Selnaas does really well there, and Tierney goes up for a ball with Rona, but Rona wins that well, and then Tierney and Rona again into another tackle. This time the Scotsman comes out on top, and now Kieran Tierney can break free for Arsenal. Tierney's driving through the Zurich back line and does really well, and now he finds Eddie Nketiah. Can Nketiah find Tierney again? He can. Tierney needs to pull it across, does it really well. Fabio Vieira, really good block there from Aliti, but what a chance for Fabio Vieira. Now Nenny smashes and rifles a 30-yard strike back in. I'm not quite sure the shot was on, but it's blocked, and the ball finds Kieran Tierney. Tierney started this game really well, actually, the goal scorer for Arsenal, and almost got himself on an assist there to match his goal as well, as Fabio Vieira now has the ball for Arsenal, and he goes back towards his centre-back, Rob Holding, and Holding finds his partner, Gabriel to Kieran Tierney. 39.5 minutes played here, Arsenal lead at the Emirates Stadium, thanks to Kieran Tierney's wonder goal it was as well on the half volley. But what a chance that was for Arsenal there, Paul.
Was a great chance, and as you said, there's a superb block there from Fidan Aliti just to try and stop Arsenal getting into a 2-goal lead. And Nketiah, lovely outside of the boot pass, played across the box, and Vieira, the goalkeeper, was already diving towards that post, wasn't he? So I think Vieira's strike was going to beat the goalkeeper, but it was a very important block from Aliti, and it's a throw on to Arsenal now down the left-hand side.
Kieran Tierney going to opt for a long throw in this time for Arsenal. Got their two centre-backs forward, Rob Holding and Gabriel, so plenty of aerial height to aim at. Can he find one of them? Looks as if he's going to find Gabriel, and he does find Gabriel. Gabriel flicks into a dangerous area, to be fair, but there's no one there. But it's out for another throw-in to the Gunners. Is Tierney going to go for another long throw-in here? I think he is. But Arsenal just didn't really have anyone in a dangerous position there, did they, for that last throw-in? So they'll be looking...
No, as you say, the first header was won, but then there was no one to get the second ball. But Tierney, once again, looking to try and launch it long.
Tierney, long throw in again towards Gabriel, headed away well there by Zurich. Tierney puts the ball back in, not the greatest of balls back in, headed away well by Aliti, but seems to be a player down there struggling. I think it was the man who won the original header in the box,
Katic, yeah. I mean, he's had problems with his bandage. Now he's, as I say, the issue of head injuries has been a hot topic in football over the last few days, with Emi Martinez having all that time on the pitch at St James before they decided that he didn't have concussion, then he did. Then James Milner in the game on Tuesday night in the Champions League. That was a very strange situation. He got a really bad head injury towards the end of the first half, came back for the start of the second half, and within 90 seconds of the second half, he just sat down and he pointed to say, I can't play on. So it does beg the question what they were doing for 15 minutes in the dressing room, that they couldn't spot the fact that their midfielder had so many problems. But yeah, he's been through the wars in before this game and during this game now, and Nikola Katic, it looks like, as well as the head injury that he already had before this game, he's now got a bit of a busted lip as he was jumping for that last header.
Yeah, well, what it was, he won the original header, and Gabriel jumps up to win it after, but Gabriel sort of catches him with the top of his head on sort of the lip, but maybe even teeth area of Katic. It did look a painful one.
Yeah, so just one of the assistants there has just run round the side of the pitch at the Emirates there to deliver a new shirt. Of course, blood injuries now, you're not allowed to have those Terry Butcher-style shirts on the pitch anymore, for health reasons, of course. But yeah, it's going to add a little bit of injury time to the end of this first half. Mikel Arteta will still be looking for more from his Arsenal side. Just looking at the Arsenal bench as well, it's a mixture of young and old, really, in terms of experience. But so I do wonder if perhaps he's going to consider bringing on a couple of other players, letting them have a run out.
Yeah, you'd like to see. I think, you know, I'm expecting to see Martinelli and Saka come on today, to be honest, because that's what he's done in every other Europa League game. Mikel Arteta, he has brought on the play, even when they've been winning. But you know, it's a chance for the youngsters of Marquinhos perhaps to come on, Matt Smith maybe. You know, get these youngsters minutes, and they're only going to improve. It's a competition where Arsenal over the years have introduced debuts to youngsters the likes of Smith Rowe and Saka.
Yes, absolutely.
And Martinelli as well have all enjoyed, you know, the start of their Arsenal careers in this competition. So it'll be an interesting one to see. But I don't think Mikel Arteta will be too keen on making those changes whilst the scoreline's
well, no, and Mikel Arteta wasn't too keen there. He was quite angry because he was saying that it was actually an Arsenal ball when play was stopped. But I think he might have a point there. I think that Arsenal, the ball was cleared after the initial free kick. The ball was heading out towards the halfway line, and Vieira had it, and that's why Arteta was getting quite frustrated with the fourth official, because the referee just gave a drop ball and gave it straight back to the Zurich goalkeeper. But he's cleared it long now, and the ball's back in play, and we have 90 seconds before we hit injury time in this first half.
Yeah, we're expecting couple of minutes of injury time now after that injury to Katic. He's back up and on the pitch and seems to be okay now, which is good news. And there's a long ball there from pressure, met well by Rob Holding. Not quite sure the long ball route is going to be the best route to success really for Zurich, because of the height that the Arsenal backline possessed.
On the odd occasion, yes, but if they're going to do that as a rule, Ben, then you're absolutely right. It's not going to work every time because it's so predictable and Arsenal could just get their players into position. The odd occasion where you clear it long to try and start a quick counter-attack, every team in the league should have that in their locker occasionally, but to do it all the time is far too predictable.
With the likes of Holden and Gabriel as well, they're two big, strong centre-backs. They enjoy the aerial side of the game, and when you look, the front three of Rona, Keita and Tossen, that's not a lot of height or sort of aerial prowess in that. It looks like a foul throw there from Aleti. The referee says no, and then Arsenal get a throw in anyway.
And Arteta, I think, is pointing out exactly whether or not he was pointing out the foul throw or indeed the the fact that there should have been an Arsenal ball from the earlier situation, but Arteta wasn't happy about something there.
I think to be fair to Arteta, the foul throw seemed pretty obvious. I'm not quite
It was, yeah. I mean, the referees don't spot them very often. Foul throws. Back passes, I think, have become a thing of the past, or sometimes players deliberately are passing to their goalkeeper, they seem to get away with it. And also the position for where you have a throw on from, you can steal 10 or 15 yards with some referees. Here come Arsenal now down the left-hand side.
And Eddie Nketiah has the ball now, one-on-one with his man. Nketiah beats Brandon Savage, delivers a real dangerous ball in, and a couple of kicky-uppies from Selnaeus, and then
What's he doing
couldn't even get the ball away for a throw-in and behind for a corner. That's 3 or 4 times now that Zurich players have
Genuinely, I mean, Selnaeus, you're absolutely right to say early in this game that Selnaeus is one of the more technical players in this Zurich team, but I said those words just as he tries to control the ball with one leg and knees it away from himself with the other. It's like something you see in the park with someone who plays football once a year. Yeah, it's really quite something, but Arsenal won't mind. They get a gift of a corner here from the left-hand side.
Good to deliver this corner. It's not a bad corner either. Towards the head of Gabriel, met by Gabriel, behind for a goal kick. Actually,
given a free kick, yeah. I thought it might have been another corner because I thought Gabriel headed that ball into the back of the Zurich man, but referee Eric Lambrechts decided that Gabriel...
in the back, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think he's just pushing his man as he jumps. There's not much in that. I mean, I'd say there's more contact every time 2 players jump for the ball. I think the referee was being a bit pedantic there.
Yeah, he is, but this referee, to be fair to Eric Lambrechts, he's been given quite a lot of them from sort of set pieces. I think back to, of course, the Omneni one was a similar situation, and another instance of it as well in his first half. So obviously doesn't like the physical nature of the marking from set pieces, and he's been consistent at least, and that's what we can ask for, I guess. Only 2 minutes to be added on. I've already played a minute and 15 seconds of that, so around about 45 seconds left of this half of football at the Emirates Stadium. Arsenal do lead by a goal to nil. So do PSV in the other game in this group away at Bodo Glimt, but as it stands, Arsenal will be topping the group, and PSV will be going into that playoff match against one of the 8 sides that dropped out of the Champions League. Of course, Manchester United will also be playing against one of those 8 sides that dropped out of the Champions League, so Arsenal will be wanting to avoid that extra game that we played in February, because it's already a frantic schedule with the amount of cups and league games that we're going to have post Qatar.
Yes, so. Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be, and then it's I think it's the finals of the Nations League at the end of the season, and then we're 18 months away from the start of the Euro Championships. We haven't a single qualifier for them yet, but the 2020 summer 2024 is when we're going to be in Germany for the next Euros. So yeah, it's going to be a very busy 6 months coming up. But the referee bang on 47 minutes ends this first half with Arsenal leading by a goal to nil. Myself and Ben will be back for you in 15 minutes. Half-time at the Emirates. Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side. Combination between White and Nelson. Then a ball played in across the edge of the area. Missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney. And Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively. But after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show. And Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. Ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb on the half volley, beating goalkeeper Yannick Brecher. That was after Zurich started positively, but after conceding that goal, the visitors went completely into their show, and Arsenal will probably be frustrated. They don't lead by more. There were chances for Jesus, chances for El Neni, and for Nketiah. It's 1-0. Half-time at the Emirates, Arsenal lead against Zurich by a goal to nil. What a goal it was as well. A good run down the left-hand side, combination between White and Nelson, then a ball played in across the edge of the area, missed by Fabio Vieira after his shot was charged down. It dropped to Tierney, and Tierney's effort superb